Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of This Week in ZA, the podcast where we dive into the world of software engineering over some good food. My name's Kodad, here with my co-host Chad on the other side. Every week we sit down with a guest from the industry to talk culture, projects, and everything in between while eating a really good sliced pizza. Today's guest is Steve West. He is a freelance designer and developer. Get that right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Former CEO of Accelerate Mind Vision for years.
Yeah. And today we're eating the Casey's Breakfast Sausage Pizza, the legendary breakfast pizza from Casey's. So stick around to hear some good insights, share a laugh, and maybe get a little bit hungry. So let's dig in.
Yeah. We always like to start really quick with your good first question of like, what's your biggest mistake or your funniest mistake right off the bat while we're eating pizza?
Mistakes. There could be people that I hired, people that fired, that kind of stuff. But man, I don't know.
Like, did you ever do something and it was like everybody else found it hilarious? Maybe you didn't. That's really what I'm wanting.
Well, I told this before at DBL, but before all this software stuff, I was a campus pastor at the University of Nebraska. And every spring and fall, we'd go on a retreat with people. And so we took them out to, I think it was Carol Joy Halling camp out there. And some of the people, they wanted to be baptized. And they happened to have a lake out there. And I mean, it was still pretty cold, but there wasn't no ice on the lake. And so we had a little like service on the banks. And then we're going to go in, walk into the water, and then I'll dunk them. Well, I had sweatpants on.
Oh no.
And shorts underneath it. And so I went to pull my sweatpants down, but my shorts came down also. So here I am, standing on the bank in my underwear with a bunch of people around singing Kumbaya songs. So that was...
That would have been a good one.
Yeah, they all thought it was funny, but I didn't. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was looking for. Good job.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Didn't involve software at all.
No, it didn't involve software at all. But were these people not already baptized?
Some of them weren't.
Okay.
As soon as you mentioned, out in the wilderness lake, I was thinking you were going to say that everybody came back with leeches or something like that.
Oh, that would have been also great. That also would have been a great
Started as
moment.
baptizing, ended up...
Yeah, at least this only affected me.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That water had to be pretty cold, though.
And no kid had to go back and tell his parents what happened at the church.
Yeah. Good. Now, I am pretty excited. I love Casey's Pizza.
Yeah.
This
This
is pretty
one of
good.
my favorites.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the culture around Casey's Pizza?
No.
Is this your first time having it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a gas station pizza.
Yeah.
Fancy
Yeah, I'm all right
pizza.
with that.
We've talked a lot on the show about their taco pizza, flat out amazing.
It is the highest rating pizza that we've had on the show.
Really?
Yeah. So, we always make the guest rate the pizza first.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the rating system?
I think so.
Okay.
I'd probably say, as a breakfast pizza, it's as good as it gets. As compared to all other pizzas, it's still an 8 or so. Maybe 8.5. Because it's like the sauce, there's not a ton, but it's all good. The sausage tastes great. So, yeah.
I would also go an 8 for me. This is like at the verge of I have to finish it. I think I could stop, so not 9. But it's really close. I could almost guarantee there'll be no pizza left.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Oh, sometimes you have some and there's some left and you're like, that was not a winner.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've had a few not winners, but
In general, it's been great.
yeah, somebody always eats it. You
Yeah.
usually walk around, free pizza walking around. Somebody's going to take that last slice.
We have been on, this is kind of season 2, we've been doing a lot of Ramos Pizza, which is great. They have one of the best crusts. I don't know what it is about Casey's, just they kind of nail everything quite well
Yeah.
for gas station pizza.
Yeah.
They've locked it in pretty good.
I'm gonna start saying they're a pizza place that also sells gas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why. The irony is I never buy gas from there.
It's true.
So to me, they are a pizza place.
Do they have a drive-up window?
No.
So you do have to walk
I
in.
have to walk in. But that's pretty standard. You don't get a lot of drive-through pizza pickup, do you? You usually have to
Probably
walk
not.
in.
Yeah.
Usually, yeah, but maybe that could be their next thing. Get rid of those gas pumps and
Yeah, you just
put a building there where you come pick up your pie.
yeah.
I'm gonna go 9.0 on this one.
Wow.
I do like this one more than their taco pizza generally, and I always eat too much of it. It is always borderline. If there's another piece, I'm just gonna keep eating until it's all gone. So it's not my favorite pie that we've had on the show, but it's very close. So, I love this pizza.
Do you prefer and you and I probably had both of these, the bacon or the sausage?
Big sausage guy.
Me too.
Yeah.
I like sausage. The bacon would be good too, I bet. I would definitely try it.
The bacon would be like an 8.9 for me.
Yeah.
Just not quite as good as the sausage.
This is, like my non-using decimals, this is one that would work against me. Because I'd have to go lower for the bacon, but 7 does feel a little too low.
Oh, you don't think you can use decimals?
Well, I haven't
You don't
yet.
think you should?
I haven't.
He's just doing it on purpose now.
Yeah, I'm doing it on purpose. Because like a 7 feels low to me for their bacon, but at the same time, it is. If I had to choose, I would choose the sausage of the two. Both are excellent pizzas, though.
Have you had the veggie version? Mm-mm. There's a veggie version of the breakfast pizza. I think they put peppers and onions on it. It's also pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
Again, the sauce and they still leave the eggs in, right? Too.
I believe so.
Okay. I think could be a pretty good pizza, even without the sausage.
Yeah.
Just there. It's a good flavor.
Yeah.
Well, WordPress and some of the things happening in the marketplace. And I know there's a lot of people out there that do WordPress development, bump into WordPress, they see it as a good option to, that first thing. So what's some of the people want to know, what are some of the biggest, craziest happenings in WordPress? And do you see those things happening into the future? Or is this something that you're starting to see kind of peel off or die down?
Well, WordPress is open source, and so that attracts a very interesting audience. Because you don't have the disciplines that come with enterprise software development. You got a lot of guys, whoever, now a lot of Indian and Malaysian guys, and whatever. But when I first started, you go to what they call them word camps, and so they have them all over the United States and the world now.
They call them word camps?
Word camps.
Sounds like you're practicing for a spelling bee or something.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Well, that kind of tells you.
Yeah.
That kind of tells you the mentality of the organization. They eat, sleep, and drink open source. Mm-hmm. It's a religion, kind of there. But a lot of them were old guys who were maybe doing this in retirement, or really young guys who were just trying to get their feet wet. There weren't many what I would call professional WordPress guys.
Sure.
People. They weren't all men. But that's progressed, and in some ways WordPress has grown up a little bit, but it's still open source at its core in that religion. But recently, one of the big players is WP Engine. They're a big hosting provider.
Okay.
And
And they're not like officially associated with WordPress. This is like WordPress engine is effectively.
yeah, they're using the WP Engine is WordPress engine, but they're not any part of it. And so they are completely for profit.
Yep.
And they have been aggressive in terms of buying up key development tools in the space, in addition to their hosting. Yeah, and
Gotcha.
making them paid for. And they have a nice stable of very useful tools that I couldn't get by without. And but the head of WordPress, WordPress has two sides. It has a .org, which is the open source side, which provides WordPress to people like me and whoever. And then there's the .com, which they do some hosting. They handle They were what they call VIP clients. So, when whitehouse.gov
Yeah.
or some other Pepsi-Cola or some other the big players, they get on that side, and that's for profit. But the .org side is, I don't know if you call it owned, but there's one guy at the top, Matt Mullenberg.
You know this, Matt?
Oh, I've seen him, but
Okay.
I'm not.
You're not on a first name basis with
No,
Matt. Okay.
no. I mean, he's pretty smart. Seems like it. Seems a little bit like a hippie-ish kind of guy.
Okay.
Going in line with the whole open source role deal.
So,
Anyway, there's a thing where WordPress.org asks contributing companies, developers, to give, I don't know what it is, 5 hours a week or something like that. Anyway, toward core, what they call core. So developing parts of the main WordPress
yeah.
system. They felt that WP Engine wasn't pulling their weight on that front. And so then there've been suits on both sides. WordPress is suing WP Engine for use of the WP part of WP Engine, because that's WordPress and
Yeah.
that's them, not this other company.
So they're suing for the use of a W and a P.
I think that's kind of this is what they're grabbing
Yeah.
onto. They just don't like what's going on.
Yeah.
And WP Engine is a big company, and so it's going to be a big fight.
Yeah. So
It may be the end of WordPress. I don't know. I don't know why Matt is one to choose. I walk into a bar, find the biggest guy there, and try to say I'm going to fight him. So.
I think there's always, people get into a lot of open source stuff with good intentions, but at the end of the day, people need to make money, and it becomes kind of we need a little more money to do this, and slowly it evolves into some sort of financial battle. And there's been other big examples of things kind of blowing up. MySQL is kind of a classic one. It was purchased by someone, effectively made kind of pseudo open source, and then there's others that kind of forked from the original source before it was
Yeah.
done, and it's kind of like different versions of it now. And admittedly, it's a database I don't really use, so it doesn't really impact me at all. But
Well, WordPress, they actually forked one of the products that WP Engine was selling. They had purchased that company, and they forked it and released it for free as part of this
Yep.
whole battle. It's like, okay.
well, I know, those sorts of things happen. It's unfortunate, but
Yeah.
it's also a little amusing from the outside. But what have you seen kind of in the last? You've been doing this for quite a while. Seen kind of in the WordPress space, like how's it kind of evolved in the last 10 years? We don't do much WordPress, or effectively zero WordPress.
Very, very little, yeah.
Yeah.
When I started, WordPress was really a blogging platform. And that's all people were really doing. They're setting up a blog. But then, with the advent of custom post types in WordPress are a way to declare a new kind of entity.
Yep.
And you can have custom fields with that. So you can take it beyond being just a blog platform to actually have things where you can declare, an event and have the dates that it starts and stops, and you can set all that stuff up. And then connect it to the speakers who are speaking certain topics of that event, all that kind of stuff. So that's changed a ton. So now you can see WordPress doing all kinds of stuff, learning management systems, and
They have learning management systems built on it.
oh yeah,
I can see that.
Cool.
Yeah.
yeah, quite a few.
We got e-commerce on there too, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
big on e-commerce.
Yeah.
So that's been kind of one huge changing factor. The other has been just within the last couple of years, Matt Mullenberg declared that we are going to be all in on JavaScript. So he told developers at their biggest conference, like, go home, learn JavaScript deeply, is what he's told people. And so they're rewriting much of what's called the builder, the part where you build pages, they're rewriting that in React. And so now that instead of before, it was the editor was really a kind of a WYSIWYG field, and you had to select stuff and hit the bold icon, kind of things. But now it's all block based. So you add a paragraph block or you add a image block, and then it has properties that you can set up on all those things.
Yeah, that's probably a trend / trying to hit where the investment of the industry is going. The industry is right now investing very heavily in two things. One, JavaScript, TypeScript, kind of that, and Python are probably where the big two investments are occurring, I think. If you even look at Microsoft, rewrote the TypeScript compiler. I don't know if anybody saw that. Last week they announced it in Go to improve performance of it. I think those are both areas, like if you're trying to bet where the industry is going, those are the two big bets, especially in the business software world. I think those are the areas that are obvious wins.
Why Python? Is it because of AI?
Yeah. If you're going to bet on a language, either JavaScript, TypeScript, or Python, I think are the two safest bets right now, especially in the business type world. So the fact that WordPress is kind of like seeing where the industry's going and trying to skate there, if you will, to that metaphor, isn't surprising to me at all. So I think not being in there could be a detriment to them long term, especially where AI tools I think are going to be, you see the investment there are going to be in those two languages. Not being in those two languages could leave you on the outside of big wins going forward. So
I mean, because there are other players that they're kind of trying to keep up with. Wix and Squarespace.
Yeah, Wix.
Some of those easy builder things that people want to use.
And this is a podcast, and I just want to point out, at no point have we advertised Squarespace. I just want to say that to all our viewers. You're welcome right now.
But Squarespace, we would love a sponsorship.
Thanks, go ahead.
Squarespace.
I haven't used Squarespace myself. One of our partners uses Wix, and I have been in there a little bit. That doesn't seem so horrible. It is kind of one of those situations you're more in a box than like a WordPress. The nice thing about WordPress is, to a degree, the box is pretty loose.
Sure.
Whereas Wix, it's a tighter box, but it also
you get what you get, but that's it.
Yeah, but the customer also was standing stuff up, and the person doing it probably had limited HTML, CSS. They had almost no abilities, and they were building stuff fairly successfully. So that felt good.
Wix, if you're listening, we'll take a sponsorship too.
Yeah.
Yes. And Ramos. We didn't even get Ramos Pizza today, so.
Yeah. World Tanks, whoever else.
Yeah.
Shadow Legends? Raid Shadow Legends, that's the one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I always hear, what's the green liquidy stuff? AG1, is that it?
Red Bull.
No, AG1, it's like you drink vegetables. The moment I hear vegetables, I kind of mentally zone it out. But
you consume different content on YouTube than I do.
Yes.
I've seen that one occasionally, but not a lot.
Oh, I hear it all the time.
Yeah. Mine are all video games and internet
AG1.
things and learning stuff.
Oh,
brilliant. Brilliant.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
So currently in the WordPress space, there's quite a big battle over. There's kind of between which is the heart and soul of WordPress is kind of the hobbyist, single guy doing something, but now there are professionals.
There's companies that's their whole business model, right?
Yeah. And so there's kind of who's WordPress built for? Mm-hmm. And WordPress says we're built for everybody. Somebody should be able to come in and do it. But the argument is, if you build it for everybody, it's not going to be right for the professionals.
Oh.
It's like, I don't want to sit and drag a block out and have to say this one's bold and the font weight's 500 every time.
Right.
When I can declare something in CSS and be done with it. So
any sort of visual software development, I think only works for people that don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
The moment you know, and I also do, that's an interesting one because I do think that works against the way AI tools are really good right now. They're really good at text parsing.
Sure.
So they're really good at helping you do text quickly.
Yeah.
They're not good at some of those visual things as well. So I say this because I've done a little bit of experimenting game type development And there's one game engine that has like more of a visual style editor to do some stuff, and I was like, I just can't take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I was like, I can't take visual editing. It's just too damn slow. I can type it really quickly and understand it. But it's also my background, or all of our backgrounds. We've been doing text for years. If you never have, and you're coming to it fresh, maybe it is better for those users. But I think they would rage quit after some point because of how slow it is. But maybe.
A common struggle I see with some of the younger folks is the styling, the CSS, that nuance, that struggle, but they can drag and drop and build visually pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I kind of wonder if that's like a generational thing where the younger folks coming up, they learn that Python because that's like the cool, fun thing, and it's really quick and fast to write. And then they do the drag and drop visual builders to kind of do everything in front of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if the tools are building for them, it maybe could get really good.
Yeah.
They're not there now.
No.
The visual things. And you've also, you have a long, history. I've worked with you since 2005.
Yeah.
Steve Keen and Doug both mentioned me as their biggest mistake, or at least threw that in there. What are some of the big trends you've seen in the industry, not just Python, just in the industry, and maybe more? I'm more interested in like the startup world. You're one of the few people that have actually been part of a successful startup. There's a lot of people out there that claim they've been part of a startup. You can't walk into a coffee shop without like saying, who's working on a startup? All of them.
Yeah.
Everybody there, including the baristas behind the thing, have 3 startups they're doing.
Yeah.
Almost none of them are successful.
Yeah, I've been part of an unsuccessful startup
Oh,
too.
yeah, those you can't swing. Everyone right now has 7 unsuccessful startups. They maybe don't even know it. People are just like signing them up for LLCs. They don't even know what's going on. But go ahead. Yeah.
Boy, I don't know.
Like what made Accelerate Mind Vision successful? Like you were the one driving that ship, keeping it from running into rocks,
Running off the road.
avoiding the icebergs, not falling off the edge of the earth and falling over.
Well, I think one of the things was, Mind Vision kind of was there. The success of all of it really comes from Mind Vision having been there beforehand, I think.
Okay.
Because you have something that's the key player in its space at the time.
Yeah.
With installer wise. And so that's a revenue flow we were lucky in that Steve King said, let's live off of the Vice stuff and invest it in whatever we think should be next. And so I remember we were sitting in my office, Steve and I, and maybe somebody else was there, maybe Gansmer or somebody. But I said, what would be cool? I mean, we're just like freewheeling. We know we want to do something else, but we don't know what yet. And this is when e-commerce was just starting.
Yeah.
And I said something like, well, it would be cool if I could buy this software right in the installer or the updater. Yeah. So I could say, I want to take this from being a demo to the real thing. Here's my money, go. Mm-hmm. And so that's where Accelerate started. And we didn't have any concept of a web-based purchase opportunity. It was all going to be in the software. It's all about in the software and not having to wait and having the installer be smart enough to know what to do.
I mean, you guys were way ahead of the time with that in-app purchase.
Yeah.
True. I mean, not many things had that, and you guys had product activation built into the product as well. Some features that I think people take for granted to a degree today, although still you can see it not work very well today in many situations. But kind of the app stores have kind of helped, the industry from that perspective. If you buy something on the Apple App Store, you get it everywhere and you can reinstall. But at the time, there was nothing like that doing that. And from a developer perspective, you would have had to build all of that all the time. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and so that's some of why we brought Doug on at the time. We knew we needed some serious database chops. And so he was an Oracle guy, and so we got him.
So what was the serious database guy you got?
Yeah. Don't get me in trouble with Doug.
I'm gonna tell him. He was taunting you
He's
the whole
throwing you
time.
under the bridge. Huh?
Yeah, actually, that'll be how we. You'll never guess who Steve throws under the bus in this episode. That'll be what I post when I post it places.
No, Doug's been a great friend. I mean, we did countless lunches at that little Mexican place over by my.
Oh yeah, I remember that place.
Countless.
They had really good chimichangas.
Yeah.
What was it?
Chimichanga.
Which place?
I don't even know what it's
I don't
called.
remember the name. I ate there a lot.
Not there anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't get up there anymore.
Yeah, I don't go up there anymore. They had really good chimichangas. I remember really liking those.
Yeah, well, my relationship with Doug started with, I was at Healthcare Communications, so we made medical practice management software for doctors and dentists and opticians too. But I needed a project/product manager, and so Shauna worked for the company, and so she pushed Doug to come interview for the job, and so he came and he's wearing a tie. I came from
As he does.
blah blah blah,
Yeah.
engineering, blah blah blah. And I said, hey dude, you got to lose the tie here. We're a T-shirt company.
He still wears ties every day now.
Yeah, right.
I've maybe seen him in a tie once.
But we hired him, and the company had some disastrous leadership issues, which meant we needed to rewrite some of the software because the software that was there before was not, let's say, on the up and up. And so they said, you can take people from wherever you want in the company, and we need to form a design team. And you guys need to design up what we need to do next. And so I picked and chose, and I pulled Doug in and had the best people from tech support and from wherever else, the people who knew all the medical junk because they had been through it with the doctors. And they gave us an open budget, but we had to do our day jobs. And so all this had to be done after work, so to speak. So it was like every day at 4:30, 5 o'clock, we'd all get together, and we always went to eat somewhere. And our goal was, Harry Maguna was on that team, and our goal was to never go to the same place twice. And this went a long time, and so we ate all over the place. We ate a ton of food, and we did get a lot of stuff redesigned, but that was kind of a death march kind of time. It was just, yeah.
Effectively doing two jobs, that's gonna wear on you.
Yeah, and the company's at stake, blah blah blah. Yeah. So
Did the rewrite work then?
the design changed. Yeah, and it's out there. They were purchased by WebMD or something, I think. The dental part is still
being used.
Yeah, they're down in the Haymarket. But,
Very cool.
We do need to have Harry on.
yeah, you need to have Harry. I thought he would be good. I'd come on with Harry. Sometimes you need to kind of prime him to get the good stories out of him. But
I want to
my
get the
gosh.
story how he fired Steve.
yeah, I wasn't there then.
Yeah.
Huh. I've never heard this one.
Yeah.
If we tell him it's for a maker video and don't tell him it's for a podcast, I bet we could get him on.
Yeah, we'll get him on. I'm not concerned.
Is he still doing YouTube?
I don't know. I haven't looked, but he used to be super popular on YouTube.
Yeah.
He does. He's done
I
all
still
sorts
see
of great-
some stuff from him
Yeah.
on there.
But I've always loved him. He's a very friendly person and very deep insights too. So he'll have some good
Yeah,
stories.
he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to a lot of Thai restaurants. Harry and
Oh
I.
yeah. What was that? The Thai House? Or yeah, we used to go there all the time too.
We did eat a lot.
We ate a lot. That's a good place.
That's what made me what I am today.
Build the foundation.
Scene?
See?
Scene.
Oh,
I don't have any other
Casa
questions,
Solis?
What time is it?
8:48.
I'm gonna stand up. This is just purely so I can find this in the video later.
Professionals.
Professionals. The clap does help because sometimes you can find that in the spikes in the audio, but yeah. All right.
Outro.
Thanks for the pizza, guys.
Yeah,
That's
Of
good.
course. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Steve, for coming on. Russ, thank you for making us look and sound good once again. Leave a comment below if you have opinions on gas station pizza and why yours isn't as good as Casey's. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications if you want to get notified when we put out new content. Tune in next week when we have pizza and another guest on.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't.
Abby's away out.
Yeah, Abby's a way out. We may have to find someone to squeeze in.
Yeah.
There's this Russ person that's always behind the scenes. It's great
true.
if he was on.
I've heard about this Russ person.
Yes.
He's shaking his head now.
Yeah, that one might not happen. Based off that look.
All right. Tune in next time for another pizza and another guest, and we'll see you then.
One time, it was a company Christmas party, and we had rented out someplace down in the Haymarket. And,
Delray Ballroom.
yeah, okay.
I was there.
Okay. And Doug, I think, was handing out gifts or stuff. Oh, bonuses, that's right. And there was plenty of alcohol at that event. And later I'm like, where in the world is Doug? Yeah, I don't find him anywhere. Because he was getting a little tipsy. And he was actually in the restroom kind of losing it.
Yeah.
So he had a pretty tough evening. So that was kind of surprising to me. But
That one is a great story because he couldn't find people. Like, this wasn't that big. The Delray Ballroom was not that big.
Yeah.
There wasn't that many. He couldn't find people to hand them their bonus. Like, he was like, who are the... You know, he was that out of it. Supposedly, he passes out in the bathroom. And they have to wake him up.
yeah, his story is that my wife and Jennifer Nodelman were the people that kind of sucked him into this
I believe that.
thing.
part
Yeah,
of the
that's
story.
probably totally true.
Oh, yeah. We need to have Jennifer on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she'd be good.
Yeah.
There's going to be some stories we'll have to cut.
Yeah, I could tell stories about Jennifer too, but I won't.
No, don't do that. I'm not trying to get you into that level of trouble. I'm not trying to get you killed.
That's right.
No deaths.
Was this the same Christmas party somebody threw a chair
No.
at somebody else?
That's a different Christmas party.
Okay.
That, if we ever get Beebs on, he has that story.
Okay. I've heard of a lot of wild Christmas parties. I think that was slightly before I came around.
I didn't actually see all of that, so I'm not the best witness to that one. All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
Grab another slice of pie.
Yeah.